Hi again. This video is actually a video request from Jennifer Garst. So thanks so much for not only some questions regarding your experience, but also sharing your comments on your experience regarding two things. This video will be about the idea of INTJ females and how other women don't get them, or we don't get other women. So again, I'll be using some notes here just to make sure that I remember the things that I wanted to touch on. So this is coming from my perspective. Jennifer did, just to summarize a little bit, she mentions trouble with appearing condescending when she is just wanting to be understood. And I personally do get that. It's almost like having to speak in a different language when you are working in a group of other females. And again, I'm speaking very generally. This does not mean that you can't obviously have meaningful relationships with females. They're wonderful. But it's the idea where you're using vernacular that's not something that you are a preference to be using. And so that's why I go with the idea of another language. And what I found personally is what I would come across is I would stumble by using the wrong terminology. So when I say that, the non-socially approved terms that apparently I'm not always aware of. And what I found is I'll say something succinctly in one sentence, and then I'd have the looks on the other females' faces where I realized that, okay, this was not socially appropriate, or this is not something that I am supposed to be talking about, and therefore have to spend 5 minutes to circle around and try and use different types of terms that allow the peace in the social setting to continue on. And for myself, I, as an INTJ female, we don't have to do that with each other. So as INTJ females, we have that innate sense where that same sentence that I potentially had said in a group situation with females would be taken exactly at that. So either you would take it as verbatim, or you would go ahead and already have intuition, regardless of how long you've actually known this person. You can sum up certain people fairly quickly, and then especially as one INTJ to another, I feel. And there is no inference other than the tools that they have used to quickly analyze what the content is for that information. Plus, again, we've talked about this before, where we don't have necessarily always the sensitivities to take things personally. And I find with working with a group of other women, again, as a stereotype, I wonder with the concept of leading with emotion when they are entering into a conversation, and there's perhaps insecurity. So directness hitting insecurity of someone else obviously is going to cause some friction, because their interpretation is going to be potentially on the negative side. And that is something that as an INTJ female, that's difficult to manage, because you don't understand the concepts of what brought that female to this situation and why the interpretation is what it is, and you just get the shocked look, and then you're trying to evaluate and make more sense. So what I find too for this situation is it's really exhausting. So I find it almost as a loop. So the conversation with the one sentence starts the 5 minutes of dialogue trying to massage the group back to homeostasis, and then I find then the superficialness of the conversations, which is the status quo for a larger, say, female group, again, stereotyping, and that just sets off my trigger again to cut through the BS basically. And so it's either I have to make a graceful exit and, you know, put in my FaceTime and then take off, or I am prone to the option of saying something again that will get into that same loop. So it's one of those things where you want to have meaningful conversations as an INTJ female, and I feel that that could be our downfall because the larger context of female dialogue doesn't go to that depth at all times. So anyways, I hope that helps. I hope that provided some perspective from another INTJ female that has gone through similar things, and I'd love to hear people's thoughts on their experiences regarding similar situations or not. And thanks so much for watching.